Society is just getting seriously confused, right? What's up is now down, what's left is now right. I mean, they just want to flip completely the truth on us and have us live the opposite of the truth, the lie. That's what they want, you know. And why would they possibly want that? Oh, well, because if they're living the truth and you're living the lie, guess what? Or if they're controlling the lie and you're living the lie, guess what? And that's the thing about the lie. The lie it's a controlled, fabricated narrative. It's a fabricated set of ideas. It has no truth. So it has no reality, you know? Imaginary evils are incurable, and you will live them as long as you don't go back to the beginning and say, this is not real. This person lied about this. This is based on this person's fears. This is based on their fears of inadequacy, you know, or their knowledge of an inadequacy. But, you know, and I know of cases where people they know that they'll never be able to add up to this other person. So they'll sit there and that's the schoolyard, right? Like you'll have the little group of students talking about how they could beat up the teacher. They could, you know what I mean? And, but that's just insecurity talking. And now they're telling this other person they could beat up the teacher. And it's that person's level, that child or whoever's level of wisdom, of reality, of truth, wisdom based on truth, on true experience, right? So it's their level of truth, essentially, on whether or not they believe that or not. So if you're believing a lie, you're actually a lie. You're yourself a part of that lie because you believe in it. And quite frankly, the only realness, the only tangible effectiveness, not even tangible, but let's just say the metaphysical, physical effectiveness of that lie is based on your belief. So you're enabling this lie. And that's a sad story. That's a very sad story. And if you are in service to a lie, that's why I tell people at some point, you're just really going to find yourself as in service to God. Outside of in service to God, and I know I've been blessed with some serious experiences where a punk could deny the truth of them. A liar could deny the truth of them. Someone who believes lies more than they believe truths because they're weak. And the lie is more convenient for them. Because the truth means they'd have to do something hard, right? So if I negate to go back to what I was saying, I know that God is real. I know that there's a spiritual side. I have seen that there's likely an earned hierarchy of structure to this side, right? Man, I was doing some heavy construction work. I don't know. The dust. Oof. So I know God's real, and it's the ultimate truth. And I know that God's fruits hold the rest of that truth. Nature, right? Nature. I am not talking about ayahuasca. I have never done ayahuasca. I grow both of the plants that are used in ayahuasca creation on my farm, include even mimosa, which is not the essential one, but just another one that they put in sometimes. I have a 10-year study of nature in the jungle, where nature's most dense. And that has allowed me to connect a lot of dots and raise my intelligence level quite, and I'm someone who's experienced an intelligence level that was very high, and then I was plummeted. My intelligence level went very lower. I watched a young person of mine at age 10, or that I know of, at age 10 be much smarter than the adults around her. But by 21, they had put a lid on that. And that intelligence regressed as well. But again, it can lightning speed come back in the gym, in nature. And I say in the gym because the Winners Club is in the gym, the first hour that it's open in every single city, right? So if you can get into the gym and get around winners, now you're with the truth. Now you're with what really works, you know? In this particular case study that I'm speaking of right now, it's just a welfare recipient that's telling her all this stuff as if, you know, it's so funny. The people who know nothing because they talk like they know everything for so long, right? They say everything they talk that they know everything with such good conviction, just like they tell you that they're telling you the truth when they're lying. It's so hard to tell. It's so because they spent their experience points on deception, so they really don't know anything about anything, and they'll be taking welfare, or they'll have some inherited bullshit, or they'll be scamming something some way. And they'll lie to you about that, and they'll sit there and tell you that they're an expert in life. And if you see this modality, because it's everywhere, the thing you do here is not listen. You cannot listen to a person that doesn't have the results you want. If you listen to that person and you look at their results and they're the results that you don't want, guess what? Those are the results you're going to get because you listen to that person, dummy. So now it's time to get with the truth, get with the real reality. And the reality is, you got to listen to somebody with the results. You got to listen to somebody with the results that you want to have. And then that way you obtain those results. Everyone's your mentor. Everyone. You're learning from everybody. And you think you don't need a mentor? Okay, put a baby in the jungle. A baby, anything, lion, tiger, you know, it needs a mentor to a certain degree, right? And if it's had a mentor that's a liar, fuck, does it need a real mentor? Now, I mean, another level of need here on this real mentorship. It is a healing, saving grace now for this person to get a real mentor around them because they've been fucking jammed full of lies. And you can listen to me about that because my mother's the biggest lying pig there is. You know what I mean? The way she lies to herself and is able to justify just a severe criminal overstepping her, you know, no boundaries, overstepping every boundary, doing shit she doesn't need to do just to be a dominant force, just to have what she wants. You have to go by the golden rule. That's a basic. Just think, if God and the angelic structure is looking down at you and you're doing to others what you don't want done unto you, that is so far from trustworthy. That is so far from trustworthy. In fact, trustworthy really is a guy who's not even making mistakes. Trustworthy is seriously a person who has wisdom and damage control, because you can't trust in a young person that doesn't have an experience. Why? Because they're going to make errors. Now, were their intentions to make those errors? No, they weren't. Now, in deception, their intention is to make you in error, you off groove, off truth, and living their construct rather than yours. Living the way they want you to do. And listen, a lot of people just don't want you to succeed because they don't want to look at that shit. They want you to stay at their level with them, wherever that level is, and be their company and their crutch. And the more miseries that area, that reality is, the more they need you as their company. Fuck what they need. They also need to stop lying and turn to God. And if they've been lying for years and years and years and years, definitely fuck what they need, man. That's no longer that person. You have no responsibility to them. They have deceived you. That is a shitty human being. That is exactly the anchor you need to cut so that your balloon can rise. You know? And life is totally like a hot air balloon, man. You've got to fill it with a special gas that rises, that goes to the top. And you need to start it with this hardcore fan that's got a big energy pack connected to it. And then that gets it open enough to where, now you can light its own flame. And then you got to cut all the bags, the anchors. And now you're flying. They have a phrase, burn all the boats to get the big boat, right? You got to burn all these little boats and start paddling like there's no tomorrow. Like the minute you stop, you sink. And that is actually the reality. And I was just watching Dana White. He's like, I'm 54 years old now. It happened like that. When people think, oh, they have all this time, and they waste it. And young people don't listen because of the same thing that old liars lie still. They think they freaking know everything. They can't face the facts. They can't face the hard truths that they don't know. And they need to turn to God. They need to turn to nature. And they need to turn to a mentor. They need all three of those things. That without one of them, you are less powered. You are cutting your fucking nose off to spite your face. You're saying, I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. You need to watch out when you're saying that to yourself. You need to just seriously analyze it, because you might be saying it for a really good reason. You might not need that. That might be the fucking bag to cut. We say in my mastermind group, the guillotine. And I mean, it's hard. It's a hard cut. You don't want to chop the head off of this thing. You don't want to chop the head off of somebody. You don't want to take this action. But you've analyzed it. And it's an evil creature. It's an evil being. And it might be you that you need to guillotine a little bit. I have killed, it's real. For liars use the fact that I used to run the streets hard. I used to run the streets real hard. And I was real successful. I had a real big reputation. And I have a real big part of me still that comes from that place. You know what I mean? I'm not going to take shit from nobody who I don't admire. You know what I mean? I'm not going to take any shit from somebody who hasn't earned my standby. I can take a lot of shit. I went through the military. People, I can take. You gotta be able to swallow shit in this life. I promise you. If you're going around being some cocky, disrespectful asshole, you need balance. You're not gonna get anywhere. And so many people think that that's okay to be that way, and you'll be that way until you learn. And you're in such a pussy world now that you could go on that way and just fucking over you, burning every bridge. Burning every potential and possibility, acting like a disrespectful little shit. And we're all young people, man. There's no age to this young person shit. Once you start saying that you're an old schooler, you better fucking be one. I say I'm old school, and I am. That, man, people were calling me old school in a hardcore scene when I was 17. Serious. And a lot of us don't make it out. In that environment, most don't make it out. Most of the guys I grew up with, they're still stuck in one box or another, either mentally or physically or situationally. Ain't nobody from back then free like me. Diamonds are very, very rare. Very, very rare. Most of these guys, they never figured out how to free your mind from the slave agenda. We think we gotta go get a job, we gotta work this 9 to 5 for somebody else, and maybe if you're telling yourself, maybe you do. Maybe if that's what you're saying, I saw the next level. I saw that, you know what? If you sacrifice and you live like shit, like a soldier for a minute, and you don't need, I still live like a soldier. Straight up, man. I got 2 big bags. I got 3 bags. You know what I mean? I'm fucking armed and dangerous. I'm ready to get down. And I'm got a few outfits so that I can be clothed. And you know, I got a first aid kit so I can take care of myself. I've got my electronics so that I can do some business. And that's it. Well, what do I need more than that? If I need it more than that, I'll buy it. Because I do well. If I don't, you know what I mean? Once I don't need it no more, I'll give it away because I'm a good person. And you know, you will help people and help people and help people. I'm on a ferry boat right now, coming off Bocas del Toro Island, Isla Colón, where we were blessed with a farmhouse and a farm. And we made it happen, man. We've done a lot of rotations on this farm. There's been a lot of team members that have come and gone. There's been a lot of young kids and old kids that I've given a free place to stay and just said, do this little thing or whatever, you know? And every single one of them told me that I saved their life, or I saved their... This last guy didn't save his life, but he's becoming a mayor. The other 2 fell off into drug addiction because this is fucking Island Hotel, California. It's Island Margaritaville. Oh, and let me tell you, if you do your burpees and your runs and shit and you're bicycling all the time, oh, you'll piss all these people right the fuck off because you're reflecting to them what they should have been, what they could have been, what they know they wanted to be, but they didn't. They just started drinking away their fucking crybaby bullshit. They went the soft way, man. They went to dealing with their problems with these Band-Aid bullshits, poisons, escapism, not taking the problem head on, not having the ability to take the problem head on, never cultivating that strength, you know. I want you to think about something, you know. Success is in a realm, success that you don't have today is in a realm of the unknown. But you just keep going one step at a time in that direction, and the path of righteousness illuminates as you walk it. And great opportunities, even better for you than the ones you thought you were going to have, you know what I'm saying, are possibly right there in your wake, you know. Oh, look at that small bird way out here. 2 of them. Way out here. Some of you have little birds like that chirping around you in a cage right now. You might want to check yourself on that one. You know what I mean? Like, what fucking dickhead takes something that flies and puts it in a cage? And you don't understand everything. You don't know everything. You need to look for the deeper layers of the unknown. That's what I'm getting at. The unknown. You call it a bird, so you think it's a bird. Bird. You think you know what it is. You don't know what it is. That could be an angel in heaven. That could be God, part of God's watch party. It could be an ancestor. It could be a human spirit. And that level of intelligent growth right there, just getting first look at the world, and then it's going to die, and the body's going to feed plants, but that electric energy that we scientifically know goes on may go into another animal for a while, or who knows, may go right to a human. We don't know how this all works, and we need to stop thinking that we do, and we just need to stop and put our faith in God, and then you start to see the dynamics. Right? Then you start to say there is a matrix here. There is an evil spirit here. There is a polar opposite. And when I just stick to the all the way good instead of just not being decisive and not giving a shit and getting bashed back and forth against every rock. I mean, the guys who don't care almost get a worse life than people that marry the evil. And we see that in every the last 10 Super Bowl halftimes, right? the last 10 MTV Music Awards, right? Anyway, I mean, I've seen in so many levels how the club that controls culture is just laughing at us, man. Sending us to war. Shitting on us with these fucking bullshit, you know, and they're gonna make, these bullshit people are gonna make real fucking diseases and shit, you know, and yeah, fuck all, you know. So you've got to start getting prepared. You got to start getting with God, and that's why I make these videos. That's the only reason why, because you're gonna get to where you're going. It's just the time that it's going to take, or you're gonna fall off into outer darkness, or even worse, burning in hell, and just an evil or an unusable force that's best to just be completely dissipated and broken into millions of pieces, so that those pieces can come back into what they're supposed to come back into. You know, this is as a cultivator for the last 10 years, I know what we're looking at is a seed test. It's the strong will survive. You know, we can find out which seeds are going to grow and which seeds are not going to grow before we ever go out there and plant them. You know, but I'm a guy who plants all the seeds. I don't really even do the seed test, right? Obviously, that's not what's going on here. And look at that water right there. Tell me that is not almost a computer activity. And you can see this in why, but you know, Bruce Lee says, pay attention to water, my friends. Pay attention to water. And his Jeet Kune Do and his deep philosophies that arguably he was killed over were so profound. He was such a profound individual, and he was so ahead of the game in his craft that he wanted to make a new martial art, right? Jeet Kune Do, which is a combination of many, and grappling, and that was very advanced. And it didn't really catch, which is interesting. But I think it was just outshined by the Muay Thai Jiu-Jitsu combination. And but his 1 finger push up or 3 finger push up, and the 1 arm, you know, all those different some of those little different details really did catch on, right? The 1-inch punch, excuse me. And some of these things, like I hope I'm pronouncing his name, Jaw White. Oh, call's coming in. Great episode, guys. Thanks for being with me.